We see more than a campus. We see a community built to ignite passions. We see more than a degree. We see the careers of tomorrow. We see more than a student. We see someone destined to make an impact.
And let's get ready to rumble again. I am South Beach with user Intel. We are here with Quinnipiac and University of South Alabama in the EGFC Season 3. So this matchup here between these two schools, I don't know. How do you think this is going to go?
I got to reach for that opinion of mine, because
Yes.
I gotta say, fairly enough, I've only really got to see Quinn play, at least in my own experience. I haven't gone out of my way to be able to see South Alabama, so for me, maybe that's just because I really want to see what they're gonna bring out here. But, I'll give Quinn a little bit more of that favoritism just because I've seen them play once or twice. It could be an interesting series, though. We just came off of a very fun upset, debatably or sub, and as we get closer and closer to the little bit of a break, these teams, they gotta show themselves off, don't want to end this series, even if you're going on a vacation after this, end it off on a good note.
Absolutely. So our players coming into this game here are Derpalurpa and Sora, and I believe this is this a button check or is this the actual match? Because they are dishing damage. So this is the actual game here. Let's go.
Don't know what type of button check you truly thought this was, but as we already see it connect, it's Fire Emblem versus Fire Emblem. Not something I think is fairly common, but it's a different in play style.
Oh no, Sora, you can't do that.
Ruined my train of thought.
What an L moment right there. But Derpalurpa will take that any day. South Alabama, real quick note, this is their first year in the EGF, one of the newer schools, so still have a lot to learn from them. But either way, we learned that it's 2 stocks to 3.
Already setting up. Roy is really nice, just having so much damage and quick agile slashes. I think Roy's one of the better, if not one of the best when it comes to the Fire Emblem characters, especially Sora not having those edge frames fast enough. It hurts, and now they're at a big disadvantage.
Absolutely. Roy just has a lot of good move sets here. We have in terms of special moves, and great arrow move from Byleth from Sora. So definitely good momentum shift here for Sora as he gets some damage going. And Byleth. Gonna be very, very confusing when I call him Sora. They're really playing Byleth.
It absolutely is. As much as Byleth is very similar, I think what makes it different is the fact that Byleth has more ranged options, meaning that they are not going to be as good in this close quarter. They're more of that mix-up fighter, and it just seems, look at that, just absolute spike.
Nice little quick match there. A quick dub for Roy as Derpalurpa takes game 1 here in this first set against South Alabama. So definitely a quick matchup already here, but from what we saw, Roy is a really good character. What more can I say?
I gotta just fix my collar and all that. It was so fresh and clean. Just being able to move in, you don't give Byleth to be able to play how they want. Also, just that very sad recovery attempting, tried to bring it back. However, that's just, very unfortunate. At least they were able to get the stock, so we know that there's room to be able to bring it back, but, it was due to the range, and I think Battlefield is not that map that benefits you as a Byleth player.
Absolutely, and the bans are gonna crawl in here. It looks like the bans are Final Destination, Battlefield, and Yoshi's, and Derpalurpa actually is informing us of a character change. Gonna switch over to Young Link, which that's gonna be maybe even a bigger nightmare.
I love, Young was actually my first main in Smash, so especially when moving over to here, I definitely think it's going to work a lot better. You get called the spammer, you get called the memer, but I think when it comes down to Young Link, it's all about zoning.
It is about zoning, and spams are okay if you're Young Link, you know what they say. right?
Mhm.
I guess it's okay for them. But the stage we're going to is PS2, so
Ooh.
everybody's favorite stage. No big surprise here. Really, in the last stream, we only went to PS2 only once, so we'll probably make it up here in these next matchups.
Yeah, Steve has just always been one of those more consistent map for both sides, and going up against a character with already so much distance, this will be pretty nice. It's almost as if it's a zoning war, though I feel Bailiff is a little bit better just with those quick aggressions. It's all about Derp setting things up, getting a bit more prepared.
Absolutely. Here comes a nice little arrow read here, spin, tackle, whatever that's called, from Young League's arsenal. And it looks like Pilot wanted an arrow, but didn't quite get it. Now just some more back and forth projectile moves from Young League. Gonna take things to the skies. And now here comes Sora. Sora's really hanging in there in this game so far.
The Sora just has everything Young Link has, but much better, though at a lower speed, debatably speaking. And I think that's what's making the difference. Though we are at least seeing the size and hitbox changes working a bit more in favor of Derp. It's really not much you got to worry about. However, it's the range that's going to kill you.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow, Sora really wanted to take a risk, try to get Young Link out of there, but that's gonna really help him right there. And now, sitting at a good 3-stock advantage. However, Young Link trying to flip script here, try to chuck bomb and edge guard. And here, he's emptying his pockets.
It definitely is in that sentiment, just trying to wipe out as much as they can. Derp at least is doing a really good job at this point when it comes to zoning, but a lot of what Young Link gets away with is not here anymore. Especially, look, going for that close trying to spike, and then Sora is able to punish you for it.
Yep, and then Derpalurpa didn't take that kindly and just get the little down air movement and make it 2 stocks even. But Derpalurpa needs to get some damage off to make things remotely possible to stay in this game here. Quinnipiac has game 1 so far, or match 1 in this first set. So need to try to figure out some more tactics, get some damage up. And oh my goodness, what a great dodge from Derpalurpa. That probably would have killed.
Yeah, relatively simple when it comes down to the way that you're doing it, but Derp is by far using those boomerangs and bombs and to the advantage. That's what you're supposed to be working off of. Love seeing that arrow just to slow down their distance, but Sora is still being able to control it when it comes to range.
Yeah, I didn't think Young Link was going to be able to recover, and he does. Too bad Byleth was ready for that little spear poke and to make things even for, not quite even, it's 2 stocks to 1, but South Alabama sitting pretty good here.
Aggressively good. Sora really doesn't have too much to worry about solely from the fact that they are a more range, as I've been saying, and it just seems Young Link close, misses that, it's an even draw.
Ooh.
All they have to do is 82 to 0 this.
Yo, easier said than done, but Derpalurpa up for the task. Trying to take your advice for gets a little bit of damage, and even more now. Now here comes the edge guard. Oh, this could possibly be it, and it is. And Sora taking game number 2, match number 2, that is. And we are going to go to our first game 3 of this stream. Definitely at a good time as well.
Yeah, a very nice kind of comeback, I definitely would say. Very much was due to that swap onto the Young Link. It just seemed to not really work in their favor as much as they were doing it. So we might see a swap back over to the Roy. Or, well, they're just feeling confident when it comes down to the Young Link. However, range is what matters most in this type of fight. Just as you saw in that last clip, Derp wanted to do, the down special, do it as much as they wanted to, especially in that one. However, you just don't really get that opportunity, especially because you have a debatably worse recovery and on grab. It's just not working in your favor.
Absolutely, and we just saw a lot of those kind of missed moves there from really both fighters, but Sora able to hit just enough more. And it actually looks like Derpalerpa is going to switch back to Roy as he puts in on a left face. Definitely worked out a little bit better as we saw last time. And let's see if... Let's take a look at our bands. We have FD, Kalos, and Yoshi's. And Battlefield is going to be that stage. So it's going to be the stage that pretty much started the entire match. And that is Quinnipiac's pick. But it looks like they're good with it. South Alabama up to pretty much any challenge there is.
I'm not too surprised seeing this walkout. Definitely feel Battlefield works best for a character like Roy. You just get so many opportunities to be able to slash down, while Bayleth is going to struggle, just like in round 1. Though, getting that win in round 2, I feel this is where kind of that comeback for Sora can be there. It's definitely an opportunity that you can work with. But more than anything, it's all about just keeping yourself calm and using the utility if you can, or be as annoying as you want. You can spam grab for all I care. There is a lot of things you can do to beat the Roy.
Yep, just throw your boomerangs, your bombs, shoot your bow. Oh no, never mind, you can't do that. What am I thinking? Boy, you're... So, just swing your fire sword, that's what you gotta do.
No, it's okay. You're seeing things. That's why I'm the color caster. Though it does seem Derp is finally getting this room, but Sora was doing an amazing job and is already putting the pressure onto Derp, almost as if they're a close range character instead of a mid to long range.
Absolutely. 46-76. Roy's climbing back up to get that percentage even, and almost did, but a great reversal from Violet, and a nice hammer spike. Wasn't quite a spike, but it was a stock nonetheless. A very beautiful one, I gotta say.
I have to agree. Already starting to bring it into their favor. I think Sora was just needing a little bit of the warm-up. A counter is good. It's able to catch people off guard, and it seems that what Derp might need to use, especially to get this stock.
Now we are even in terms of stocks. Great little sword hit from Roy. As they say back in the day of medieval times when they had swords, let's do that sword play game.
You mean the word on guard?
On guard in English translates to let's do that sword game.
I can definitely see that. It's really hard for Roy right now to do anything. I think Derp very much is trying to go in close and even has that setup right there. But I don't know what it is about. Maybe it's the fact that Sora's using the shields a bit more defensively instead of just more reacting to the damage, and it's making sure these jumps and dodges are putting them in an optimal position. They're playing more mid, and I love it, and then going in close range when they have a chance.
No, and the arrow gets them. You don't see a lot of Byleths use the bow and arrow as a kill weapon, and I don't know if Sora intended it to be a kill or just to separate, but hey, it works.
If anything, you really want it to be a kill. It just does a lot of damage charge, and it has a good range. Now you have advantage in the stock.
Ow! The emphasis.
Why would you peek that, though?
The emphasis. Roy is not afraid of anything. And here he comes. Just Violet. Trying to use the B. Doesn't work.
Having to be so careful. Sora was leading the series and now is almost in a back foot, though. The damn an edge guard!
Sheesh. A nice little poke with the spear, and Sora takes this first set with 4 points over Quinnipiac 2. So good start for South Alabama, climbing back from behind, winning 2 in a row.
these
It's
players
great.
are listening in. They are these games have to be scripted or something, and I don't know because every time I'm like, oh, it's looking a little interesting, like I was gonna say how Sora was more in the back foot, not able to get in those consistent hits, then immediately takes the stock, and this has just been how it's been all day for me, and I find that a little bit unfair. But still, though, I think Sora and the rest of Alabama, they've got to feel really proud. That's a nice comeback.
Absolutely. Just a little. Let's just take a look at this. At the right spot and at the right time. I mean, that's how you want to do that edge guard. Just perfect timing. Frame that clip. And then South Alabama won it. I mean, what can you say? Dude, they're new to EGF, but hey, they are picking it up really well here. It looks like, especially in this last game. So we're gonna bring in a couple new players. We're gonna see who South Alabama has in first.
Oh, it's going to be quite interesting to see who they bring in. A lot of these players are more setting up the names, and well, South Beach, you look pretty. Yeah, I don't know, a little bit jamming out maybe.
Yeah, it's just looking at the chat, and it's Unami for South Alabama.
Ooh.
And now we'll see who Quinnipiac brings in next. While they do that, I'm gonna remind myself who Unami plays as. Oh, and it's Incineroar as well
Oh
as
yeah.
Incineroar is a pick.
I always have this fun joke at least because I think Incineroar is one of those characters I didn't expect to come out in the Smash. So I like to pretend like I'm Hulk Hogan or someone from WWE. Like it's time for the Incineroar. That's just the way I see it. Though out of memeing and all that, I think Incineroar is kind of a very messy pick. Doesn't have that recovery that's really beneficial. It is so easy to be like an inch away from that edge, and then you fall off the map because of it.
Yep, and it looks like Billy Shilly is coming in for Quinnipiac. Billy Shilly is probably one of their better players, and he is Pokemon trainer. So watch out for it. We're going to get another Pokemon matchup here with Incineroar and PT, with Smashville being banned.
I mean,
Honestly.
brilliant. Honestly, what?
Oh, I was gonna say, honestly, maybe just jump into PS2 to make it a full Pokemon match.
I could see that. Oh, that'd be funny. Maybe that's gonna be like the round 2 to round 3 type of thing. But it's kind of funny. Brilliant Diamond just came out, so we're gonna have that kind of funny trainer to see who's better, the wild Pokemon or the trainer. And I think the trainer may have a slight advantage. At least trainers can be very unpredictable with the way that they work, especially since each Pokemon has their own playstyle in their sense. Incineroar, though, Incineroar is all about getting close. It's very much that grappler type character.
Right, and the stage is actually gonna be town. So, letting us down here, I mean, at least for this first match, and it looks like we're doing a button check as well. Just a little preview of the fight, and just make sure that the Wi-Fi is 100% connected, and that your Wi-Fi is in good hands, like Allstate or something like that. But there's the fighters. Now let's see who wins this button check.
Not even using the Garfield Incineroar colors. I'm very upset by that.
I mean, yeah. How can you hate the black though? Come on.
No, I mean like it's cool, but like Big the Cat, purple is better. Garfield Incineroar is much better. Like how do you sit there and you're going all shadows and then you just have that fiery belt? It does not contrast. Your eyes are just looking at the fire.
I don't know. I think it works either way. The creators were doing their homework. They made them. I will say that.
Sakurai only knows so much, But with that button check, I think these players are going to be absolutely ready to go one another. But, as you're looking at it, what do you feel kind of the best matchup is? For me, in all sense, I think it's going to be Ivysaur, most likely kind of bringing it up, though opposite in Pokemon typings, the reach may be a big benefit.
Right, and honestly, I think it's just what Billy Shilly is feeling. I know a lot of kind of like the way you play Pokemon Trainer is that you do a lot of damage with Squirtle, then you switch over to Ivysaur, and Ivysaur's a good neutral character to pick if you want to just get more damage, or if you want to see if you can get the kill on that. And if you can't do that, you just switch to Charizard, and that's
Yep.
your kill move. So it's gonna be whoever Billy Shilly is feeling is gonna be it. But I do like your theory. Ivysaur could be that Pokemon that really is the X factor in this matchup, especially with the trio of Pokemon starters that you get. And we'll see who Billy Shilly picks in Pokemon Go in the first match.
I respect that. It's more looking like Onami's having a lot of room.
People still play Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I remember. I would if they just let you have free Pokeballs. Unfortunately, though, it seems Billy might be ending up going into their own. They are not being able to play on this stage, and Incineroar is just so good at knockback.
Oh, speaking of knocking back,
Oh!
a Squirt to knock him out of the ring. Man, water beats fire sometimes,
What do you mean sometimes? That's the type advantage when it comes to Pokemon, and more than anything, Incineroar recovery is the reason why that's so weak, and why Incineroar is not a popular character within the collegiate or Smash community. Has really good damage and a really nice counter, but not much when it comes to getting back onto that stage, especially from characters that can edge guard.
For sure, and that's gonna not kill? Really? I thought that would have killed.
We've seen a lot of things not killed today, so I'm not too surprised. But look, it's the Ivysaur. Long range, able to get back. Does get some bit of dodging. Just has more utility.
And yeah, this Ivysaur is really moving around really well too, and just whatever that is. That's not really. I just can't think of anything to call it. Sneeze bomb.
I would call it pollen spray or
There you
something like
go.
that, because it's a bulb. It's a Ivysaur, so it has grass moves. Either way, Onami is just not working to the favor, especially just since you control the scene. At 3 stocks, already bringing this to 105. Luckily, though, it seems that up smash is going to help out, but you're going up against Charizard.
Yep. And now it's the battle of the heat, or excuse me, let me try this again. The heat is on. There you go. Clip that. I'm joking. Either way, we're seeing a little bit more. It's a heavy on heavy matchup, but Incineroar 156, and this throw could do it.
I hope
Man.
chat clips it, because clipping this is something you need to see.
Man.
Look at that. Charizard doing a little spin wheel. Nothing Onami could do without keeping up the pace. You give them so much room to play, and it just works out that well. It's why Pokemon trainers, I think, so good against any type of enemy, and especially against the other Pokemon types.
Absolutely. They have answers for pretty much any character they go against. And let's just take a look at some of these. This was after the Squirt from Squirtle.
I guess they like
Because that's the name of the move. Just play, that's Sakurai's fault. It's Sakurai's fault. Not gonna lie. The real question is, why'd you have to bring that up?
I don't know. You just said it a type of way. It's called Water Gun. It's the base Pokemon move. It's the first thing Squirtle learns, and thought you would know that.
I'm just a casual player. I didn't even know people still play Pokemon Pass. So, but hey, the bands Smashville, Yoshi's, and PS2 for Quinnipiac. And it looks like the stage is gonna go Kalos. So, good Pokemon stage. And we're running back Pokemon characters. Alright.
Alice is a really nice map for especially Pokemon, but I think just in general, it's one of those better maps we've seen consistently played.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Really well designed. Really good. Just a really good stage for that Pokemon hype, It's not just, PS2 was banned, but hey, Kalos is a great you know, it's a great stage if you want to make a really good-looking Pokemon battle. I think this will work here. I always like to do the, what's that stage called with Dialga and Palkia?
I mean, I don't remember. I like to call it the Pokemon Stadium stage.
Victory Road? No.
And fair enough.
Yeah? Something like that.
I mean, Billy's on Victory Road right now. Just look how much they are able to get done with this Squirtle.
There you go.
Gonna be able to
little bit of air movement there, and there's that water gun, and not in the B move, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you'll figure it out in the set. It is really hard.
Yeah.
I think for a Nami to go up against this Squirtle, just with how much, how smaller Billy is and how much speed that
Water
Squirtle
gun,
has.
there it is.
Look at that. Look
Oh
how
my
much
goodness.
space they get. That's what I call zoning.
Yep, and Umami had a great idea with the recovery, do the early up B, but all Billy Shilly had to do was water gun it again, and just didn't do anything.
Oh, it's just not working in the favor. Looking for more of these like quick slashes and good damage. I think it's a really big risk go for these spikes. You just don't have room to like get off this map. You need to stay on. That's basically your win condition there.
For sure, try to go for the counter, but Billy Shilly not falling for it, and all he's doing is pressing B. That's all. What else can he do in this game? Oh, and a little up move and a switch to Ivysaur.
Yeah, what did I say? Ivysaur is that character that they're looking out for. There's only so much you can do against this Pokemon. It's floaty, it has good range and reach, and then the Charizard comes in, which is by far the deadliest one. It's not really what you want to be going up against.
Deadly and heavy, and able to stock off of it already. So, there's a fire burning in Umami's favor.
Working to their benefit. That looks cleanly. Unfortunately, though, that does not look clean.
I think that was pretty clean from Billy Shilly. What the? Need to take a little replay off of that.
Yeah.
Gotta see that again.
Yeah, now Billy's basically in a free zone, though not going to be close to the 3-stock, is at least forcing Onami in a very uncomfortable position. You either play this range character or you force out the Charizard, and I don't really think you want either of those.
That probably did it. Yep.
You
That
poor
did it.
soul. Onami, I respect the Incineroar. However, I think we both knew how it was going to end. You just don't have that reach. And basically every character is really good at shutting you down.
That reach, and then that recovery also just doesn't quite work out. If you're Incineroar, it only goes up. It just goes straight back down as fast as possible. What more can you do? Really? I mean, yeah, Billy Shilly just total control of this game.
Yeah, I think, sorry, indigestion is hitting me. I think they're hitting me where it hurts, my heart, because I love Incineroar so much. Especially with that spike
goodness.
there. Alabama are coming out with some very nice picks, I think, but not very good matchups. I think if it was against anyone, especially like that Roy from we saw before, against a character like that, I think it works, but against a character like Pokemon Trainer or Ivysaur, whatever technical sense you want to go out with, it just does not work. And so Quinn are going to be taking the lead, but I'd say it's been fairly close and even.
Mm-hmm. And now we are going to go with Mr. Purple coming up next, playing Sora, and University of South Alabama. He's going to bring in Nanomech, and he's also Incineroar.
Ooh.
We're gonna see back-to-back Incineroars.
They must they must duo a lot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Probably. We'll see.
I mean,
we'll see if it's a different color this time. Maybe the Garfield color. Who knows?
yeah, the Garfield color is by far my favorite one. All right, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Okay, my hair's big. All right, maybe it's because I feel a little bit furry in myself, and it seems OBS Ninja just wants to remove me from existence, but I won't fade. No matter what. Either way, I think Incineroar is going to be working better in this matchup.
Yep, absolutely. going up against Sora, who we don't quite know well. Although, if this fight goes off stage, Sora's gonna win that fight like 10 times out of 10, I feel like. But we'll see. Maybe, I mean, from no, that recovery, he's the best floaty character in the game. Come on. It's gonna be difficult.
Yeah, you make a very good point. In that's the moment where you can compare one. You got Incineroar, who can jump and dash cancel in the air, but then the up B goes up and then diagonal off the map, and then you got your opponent, who's much better and doesn't go up and diagonal to the ground. So I think that's pretty much a win-win type of scenario, not for the Incineroar, though.
Absolutely. So it's a win scenario for Sora, and you can't really do much if you're Incineroar, but try to stay on the stage, then you should be just fine. That's free coaching advice if you guys are Incineroar players or Sora players. Next one we'll charge you guys, but hey, we'll give you the free one. The banning has come down to PS2, Final Destination, and Battlefield. We're gonna take a look at the the pick from Alabama, and it's gonna be Smashville. And I believe we'll also be getting another button check before we start to play.
Gotta put that forehead back a little just for that button check. It's either they're always going with button check or they never do. So I can respect the mentals behind it. You either do or don't, and that's a do or die type of moment. But I think Smashville's a nice map, not good for Incineroar. A lot of just high spaces and the platforms move. I just think this can be a lot more hurtful, especially going up against the Sora, who doesn't, up B doesn't go up and then immediately down. This character can literally float and fly. You don't walk away. That's the lyrics.
Absolutely, and everyone's moving real well so far. Violet, amazing. I mean, everyone loves Wi-Fi on Smash. Come on.
Look at this. It's also Big the Cat. All right, that's a good skin. That is so much better because the dark colors, they're not extremely black, so they're not oppressed. What a spike!
Oh, excessive. It's excessive.
That was a little teaser for what's to come. But look, the purple looks so much better comparably to the black. It's not oppressive and it's not outshining when it comes to the fire on the belt. It more amplifies and makes it look nice. You can still look at Incineroar now. I can look at his face and I'm not looking only at that fire because it burns 1,000. What is with my face? I'm an octagon.
Yeah, and it's good. If anyone knows Kansas State, they are the Wildcats. The colors are purple and silver. They are the K-State Wildcats. Kansas State. One day they'll be good at football. I only mention that because I'm a Kansas dude. So shout out if you're from Kansas and watching that. I don't know if anyone is.
Hey, well, massive shout out for the people listening, especially for our producer. Sora just has so much room against this. I'm more curious on how the Incineroar is going to make these matchups, because I feel it's going to be the punishment on the Sora that happens, like that type of moment, but even then, you're still taking so much damage.
Yeah, it didn't do much to Mr. Purple here, going up against a purple cat named Nanomech. But 77-79, pretty even so far between these two players. Going back and forth. 6-12. And a great, and wow, it looks like Mr. Purple wanted that bait to happen, try to get the counter, just missed. And Nanomech strikes first.
I gotta say, not what I was expecting, because Sora just has better reach, better mobility, better utility, and look at that, better zoning. Though it seems Nanomech is being able to play close up and find the damage, and Sora does a lot, and that's what works the best! What a spike!
Oh, that hurt. That had to hurt some morale right there. Quinnipiac. My goodness, and a great answer from Mr. Purple to give Nanomech a fresh, clean ball. Oh my goodness, that was a dirty, dirty spike.
was absolutely. The Incineroar, as I was saying, does so much damage, and if you're able to take opportunities like those and you get the benefit off it, well, it's gonna work, because as it's now, Sora just does so much, Sora's gonna be able to do a lot of damage, but you do much more with less outputs.
Oh, and able to avoid Thunder. Blizzaga is going to be up next for Sora as he soars up high. Now it's going to use it and just shoot some fireballs. And he's just using up all the spells he can to try to get an answer. And just put your hands together and swipe up. That's all Incineroar had to do to take game 1. This matchup.
You weren't ready for the Incineroar, okay? And that was an absolute beautiful play. Worked to their strengths. I don't think they were really trying to beat Sora at what Sora is good at. I think they were just trying to play their own game, and, well, we saw how that works. Spikes, the damage, the grabs. Mwah.
Yeah, it was definitely a great match. A great seeing from Incineroar here. Usually, you know, we've been seeing a lot of Soras just because of the newness of him. Everyone wants to give him a try. Take a look at this beauty of a gem. Sheesh. What a treat if you are an Incineroar fan.
You know, if there's any reason to make it seem like Incineroar is really good still, that's your best point. Absolutely dirty, but it works so nicely.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you want to try to do in Smash. Trying to keep all of your skills loaded, and then you can unload that ultimate skill right there, and that is the ultimate skill. It looks like 3 bans coming in. PS2, Final Destination, and Lilet have been the bans, and I agree with them, I guess. I don't know. Bans are bans at the end of the day, and we're just gonna wait our pick.
I mean, bans are bans, you know, I'm not gonna say you're wrong with that idea. But bans, I don't think, have been really impacting so far within this series, or at least the series beforehand. So, you know, if there were a ban pick that you feel would be important, is it just the map that you hate?
I guess so. It looks like we're gonna go small battlefield, and we're change to Ness. From Sora to Ness, Incineroar's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Sure, but, yep.
Show them guns, Incineroar. Listen, you're not ready for the energy that comes in. So this has been the match that has brought up the push. We just had an amazing series beforehand, you know, it was an upset. So the fact that I get to see the beautiful Mr. Nakomek come in and go up against a... Oh no, not a Ness. Oh no.
A Ness. Yep. What did I say? What did I
didn't want to listen to you. PK Fire and PK Thunder are the worst thing that Incineroar can go up against. It's zoning 101.
Oh my goodness. There it is. Still waiting to get a hit off of Mr. Purple. Now this is all out real well. Oh! And a swipe up.
It's still a big problem. There's not much. You don't even get to play the game. If you go too close, there's PK Fire. You have the counters, which is your opens, but there's still not enough in the utility of the Incineroar. And look at that. It's the best way to outrange you without getting a chance to counter spike.
Yeah, but now here comes some more PK Fires. Every time you just have to bet in the chat how many times you see a Ness throw out some PK Fire. We've already seen about 2,000 already. Shoot!
Mr. Purple is so angry. At this point, I just feel bad for Mech. There's not much the Incineroar can do. You can counter, but you're gonna be taken out. Literally every move on Ness is just a perfect counter going up against, though he is very floaty. So at least that's the kind of benefit you can work off. But look at that moment. PK, and it once again gets back on.
There you go. And finally gets that opening to ease the pain a little bit, but it's not going to be enough, it looks like.
Hey, fair enough, of a benefit, but still, Mr. Purple controls the factor. You're scared of the PK Thunder, you're scared of PK Fire, and you're scared of the Yo-Yo.
Yep, and oh my goodness, he couldn't recover. And I'll tell you what, I think Ness could smell what the Incineroar was cooking right there. And he just ate it all up. And now we're going to get another Game 3 on our hands. So, well done for Mr. Purple flipping script. You made a lot of WWE references. I make one myself.
No, you went on that, but it was just the fact that you'll be able to see it. Mech actually was going to touch, but was scared, so they air dashed to cancel out to stop themselves from, getting hit by PK Thunder, and they fall off the map because of it. Which, look, they would have had it. See? They would have had it. But they get off of it, and listen, it's not the references that I heard. I hate puns more than anything. That just kills me. That just makes me want to cry in the format you're seeing.
Mm-hmm. And no surprise, Mr. Purple is going to stay Ness in this next matchup as he bans Yoshi's Lilac. So it's going to be up to Nanomech to pick a good stage that can keep Incineroar happy. We haven't seen a lot of success from Incineroar.
I don't know what
except that last match.
Yeah, and it was really good, but what do you do like this?
We're switching. Do you know we're switching characters now? Where he is switching over to Falco. So now I guess the WWE to an end, unfortunately. But
all right, listen. All right, what about the knee though? The knee on Captain Falcon is absolutely insane. That's a WWE reference.
Falco, not Captain Falcon.
Oh, listen. I misheard you. Maybe I just really want to see Captain Falcon played. But Falco's not too bad though. He's a really nice counter to Ness.
Absolutely. He's got a great aerial game to go up against Ness, but once again, not a great start.
Question mark? It was trying to go for, your up B just to be able to come back in. I guess misclicks or just doesn't have it, wasn't able to get that. Now you're at a big disadvantage, practically a zero stock. You do have, I feel just Fox would have been better for this. Your own shield is a throw in. You're already being parried off the map. You're being hit. You're not getting too much damage in. It's 12:06 and we've barely been a minute into the game.
Absolutely. It's just not looking good already for Nanomech. Started off so well, but then ever since the switch to Ness from Mr. Purple, it just all went downhill. And oh no. That's like 5,000 PK fires I counted by now, I think. It's either that or like 26.
I don't know what type of prejudice you gotta have to be making chicken at this type of moment, Mr. Purple. Captain Falco is just trying to do as much as they can. Look, I did a little name carrying kind of way. But, I think this is where you just need to be as impressive as possible. Don't let Ness play the game. It's similar to Youngling. Stop allowing the zoning to happen, though that's what zoning is meant to do.
Yep. You can't really do much against zoning whatsoever. You just gotta try to be aggressive and get back in the game and get close to your opponent. Show them up. And we're getting pretty close to the end, it looks like. PK Fire looked like it was about to end. It just didn't quite work, but this will not do it. Alright.
It's still just being at the edge, but
There it
Ness's
is.
grab 3 stocks. Mr. Purple just absolutely denies Met from being able to use the shield counter playing onto the game. And, well, it's just like Mr. MatPat says, it's Sans from Undertale. With how they were just able to survive, taking as little damage as possible.
Absolutely. Going up against Ness, he's just a very tiny... He's just got all the arsenal you can imagine. PK Fire, PK Thunder, a yo-yo, and make you do unfortunate things like that. Just accidentally kill yourself. Just put yourself in a really bad position. That's what Ness is designed to do.
I don't even think, as much as I agree with you, I don't even think that's a moment to where you can say they put themselves in a bad, Ness put them in a bad position. That Quinn just kind of messes up the dash, and, well, it speaks for itself. At least we can say Alabama did put up a really nice fight, and I did like the idea. I definitely felt it could have worked, but just a little bit more practice and usage, and you'll be able to bring it back in.
Absolutely. And coming up next, we have Grit for Quinnipiac and Starukami for South Alabama. Now, Grit is a Bowser Jr. main, and actually a very good Bowser Jr.
What do you mean, actually?
As well. Oh, yeah, there was one match me and Peter commentated on. He was going up against Wolf, and literally he ended up with a 3-stock, and the way he ended the 3-stock, if I could just illustrate it, the stage was PS2, so it looks like, Grit's going off the stage to the ledge before Wolf can recover, shoots his cannonball, hits Wolf, and Wolf hits the stage and then flies out that way. That's how the stock ended. That was an amazing clip. I hope that resonated with you. Hope that communicated with you. I don't think I
gotta tell you,
did
it did.
that right. It did? Perfect.
I gotta say, perfect example. Absolutely resonating, pick for pick with inside my brain.
Excellent. I try my best. And it looks like Starukami is going to be playing as Lucina. And we're going to take this fight to Battlefield. We're also going to take this button check to Battlefield as well. So we'll see. Yeah. I love Battlefield. I don't know why Battlefield it's not picked. I don't know why it's not picked that much.
It's just everybody plays it, or I think it's because Battlefield, depending on which Battlefield you have, you either have 2 platforms or 3. 3 make it harder for most characters. I think 2 can make it a little bit more difficult, and they don't move away, so they could be a big problem. I think this is where Bowser Jr. can thrive off more, similar to Lucina, but maybe a little harder. It's all about the zoning for at least the Bowser Jr.
Absolutely. We'll see if there's going to be one of those moments off the stage, as we saw the last time, or my last time at least, when I was talking about it. Excuse me, I just coughed up a storm. And now we're just going to kill ourselves here. Great button check.
Yeah, I gotta say, every button check is always a story in itself. You know what those players are ready, and when they're telling themselves, all right, let's get the match ready. Let's go spin off and die. But Lucina versus Bowser Jr. is not something I've ever seen. I often see a lot of more, I think, floaty characters against the Bowser Jr. And so seeing a character that's more kind of in the mid-between and really good at damage and backslashes and is not a shulk is a really nice kind of setup.
Yep. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in, and we're going to start off with a little dash. Popping off here with some bombs and stuff, but here comes Lucina, already throwing out the sword, trying to get Bowser Jr. off stage. Doesn't quite get that well. Just a little bit of missed hits from both fighters so far. A little nice sword play. And just some defense happening now, too.
Yeah, I mean, they're both able to hit a lot of equal damage, but I think Grit has a lot more control. Just look, basically able to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, though, they get set up in their own trap.
Absolutely. Missed counters. Able to just find the opening and grab. Trying to connect the bomb. I think Grit wanted that read. Doesn't quite get it, but Starukami unfortunately can't recover as well.
It's being a problem. Though, look at that. Grit has the moves at least, but is still really scared because of examples like that. Star has better reach, but Grit has better control, so it's an even fight. It just goes down to how you're controlling things, wanting that parry. Both of them almost had it.
Man, that was a great recovery from each. And unfortunate that they weren't able to, one of them wasn't able to take a stock from the other right there. Could have gone either way, as you said earlier.
Yeah, they're very much kind of going off of how they're setting up these combos, but I'm loving the fact that Grit is playing a lot more aggressively, is going in for these very risky plays, especially against a character with the counter. You know, it just takes one mistake to get hit, and then Star just doesn't. So they're able to go in, hit the hammer.
Yeah, can't do it. Can't get back on stage. Bowser Jr. just smiling.
You know, you were right. You were right. The visual, I think the visual was just replayed. I think we just saw like an actual replay of just what you were explaining to us before.
Oh no, that's not exactly what happened, but I have it like screen recorded too. It's in one of my broadcast reels. It was just amazing. It was an amazing play. And I think it was Grit that did that. It was either Grit or another player. I assume it was Grit because I have not seen another Bowser Jr. player in EGF, but yeah, that's it was a great so far. Great first win for Quinnipiac. Once again, they are extending their lead as per usual.
They're just setting themselves up for these victories. The matchup was fairly even, as that's kind of been the main point of what we've been talking about, and it's been more of the individual kind of utility of how they're being able to bring it. I think it's just kind of being a little bit more reactive from Star. You know Grit's going to be walking into, you know what Grit's going to do, so I think you just play your game, play what you're strong at. You have that kind of medium to close range. Well, I think Grit is really good at everything. Long range, mid range, going in close, you know. A Grit could go to your wedding and basically hit you, and I think it still would work out. So we'll just have to see what they do on here.
Yep, the stage, obviously, as you guys can tell, PlayStation 2, the bands were Battlefield, Yoshi, and Lilacs. So now we're seeing Grit once again with that hot start. 81% already given to Star Ukami, leader of South Alabama. And a great up smash attack from Lucina, getting Bowser Jr. up to 70, and here comes the bomb. See that clips, does not clip. Just a little miss action from both fighters. Oh boy!
Yeah, but look at that. The action comes more onto Grit. These stages are really small, so Lucina is going to have a lot more room to be able to land these hits, so it just matters that Grit is trying to get as much damage in as possible while placing the Koopa Bomb on these mini platforms, so Lucina doesn't have much room to jump around.
Yeah, Bowser Jr. is going to be relying on the traps. Let's see what happens here. Here comes another bomb. Lucina caught in the middle, and here just an absolute ram. There's that cannonball and a pack air. This, honestly, is Grit's bread and butter this stage. Already 2 stocks off of Star Ukami. He is showing a lot of, what is it, grit? Sorry, you don't like puns. I just remember.
You evil man. You did that with prejudice against me, so here's what I'll have to tell you, okay? Star just gets absolutely spiked, and that was your fault for the pun. Grit, we matched the energy, bringing out that anger, showing that Bowser Jr., and that was a new style of how I'd like to see it. Absolutely an amazing play.
A dominating performance here, 22-6 over South Alabama. That should seal the deal for Quinnipiac running away with this game. Yeah, Grit is very, very good at Bowser Jr. as well as playing at PS2, as we just saw.
I gotta say, Alabama did not play bad. I think they had some kind of terrible matchups at some points, but I think coming in so late, they looked pretty good. And especially moving out where they get this week of practice and they have time to relax. I think just going up against a team like Quinn, and especially someone like Grit, you just had the worst matchup possible.
Absolutely. Grit is probably one of their better players. And, you know, I said that Bowser Jr., you don't see a lot of them in EGF. So that's also going to be pretty hard to game plan as well, just because you don't quite know what to expect from a Bowser Jr. But Bowser Jr. has a pretty unpredictable arsenal. So it might not be as vast as, let's say, a Ness or a Steve. Steve's got a big one. That's a better example. Yeah. But, you know, you're just unfamiliar with. So it's just gonna be hard to go up against. And I think we're coming up to our last match. It's gonna be Crystal Rose for Quinnipiac, who's gonna bring in Rosalina and Luma, and Red Rhino is gonna bring in Diddy Kong for
Ooh.
South Alabama.
Wait, Diddy Kong versus Rosalina?
Yes, it is a good
Rosalina
Mario matchup.
versus Diddy Kong.
What you thinking there? What you thinking there? Intel?
I've never heard of a of a fight like that. I rarely enough have I ever seen a Rosalina really get played, or even people mess around with it. I think she just does not have a lot to her kit, especially the Luma is what you're working off of. It just does not work well, and I think Diddy Kong is good, you know, especially with banana juggling. But a lot of people don't really prefer it, you know. And as much as I'm really into the monkeys, I'm a Donkey Kong main, you know, Monkey O'Clock, it's my catchphrase, hoorah. I have I don't really have an opinion to say how this match is going to go out, because the Rosalina is something that is not casually used. I think, you know, there's got to be a game sense to go in with this, and at least we get this button check so we can see, you know, what mechanics do they understand, do they got that wave dashing set.
Absolutely. And PS2 is going to be the stage. It's a button check, or this is a button check.
Yeah, this is a button check.
They're just getting really up into each other's grill there.
And you can always tell it's a button check when you can't see their names or their stocks. That's the way I'd like to put it. We get this really in detailed idea to look at them.
It's gonna be a princess and her stars versus a monkey and his banana peels.
Man, I just feel Rosalina is just not gonna do too well. You don't even have that great of a recovery for your up B. Yes, it launches you very far, but you don't really have too many invincibility frames. So, you know, you could be a big problem. And as much as you can nullify that banana, which is Diddy Kong's whole entire kit, I think you have to be doing that consistently. And the idea between can and does is a very big kind of line that we have to see coming out from Alabama.
Well, we'll see how C Rose does with Rosalina going against Diddy Kong, and especially, you know, using that recovery, as you said earlier. We'll see how it works for her. So going up into this matchup, here we go. Rosalina gets the first hit. Already just gonna carry Red Rhino off stage, but able to get back and still dishing out all the damage possible.
No, I was talking down on the Rosalina. You've got to do it, Red Rhino. You got to bring up the monkey time. Look at this combo. Diddy is just so small and has the banana. But Rosalina is so floaty. It has a lot of consistent knockback that I don't think Red Rhino is able to keep up against it, losing that stock already.
Man, is this some biased caster thing I'm hearing for the monkey?
I really like monkeys, alright? I think Diddy Kong is a really nice character, but the Luma's not even being used the way I truly expected. The difference between casual and competitive.
This is definitely looking in the favor of Crystal Rose, but already at 78%. Looks like Red Rhino is trying to cook something up here. However, it's already flipping back over to Crystal Rose, trying their best with the star power that Rosalina's got. Throws away that banana peel. Like I was mentioned earlier, that banana peel is not going to be much of a factor against Rosalina.
We're not even seeing... Whoa, what a knockback. The Luma actually kind of brought that back for a tiny second. It's being that big problem, and that's a really nice way to get back onto the stage. But Red Rhino isn't getting a chance to be able to use these bananas, which is the entirety of Diddy Kong's kit, nor of being able to land a hit. A lot of where they are is just on the edge in the sky, and that's not really where the Rosalina is.
Yep, and here comes an air attack. Oh, speaking of air attack, jetpack takes down Luma. Rosalina's still with us though. Oh, the banana peel! He's not gonna help. It almost did though. And Red Rhino's really struggling, trying to figure out an answer to take down Crystal Rose off stage. The throw's not even gonna do it. But that little back air kick will, and now it's 2 stocks apiece.
Thank you, Sakurai. Finally, the land that we've been waiting for. The banana just has so much utility when it comes to slipping people up, countering out the Luma, which, you know, a point that we talked about before. But I gotta say, when it comes down to the Rosalina, having that Luma, and especially just consistent knockback, I don't know if she has, like, how much of it is, but she looks insane just being able to use the Luma to get these back hits, pressure it out. And Red Rhino has to play very carefully, but looks to be looking a bit more confident.
Absolutely, that last stock though, not quite sure what really happened at that last stock. It looked pretty impressive. So Rose, either way, this is going to be going back and forth. So far, jetpack move from Red Rhino, doing a little few kicks in the air that Diddy Kong's so good at doing. Oh, and he uses the banana where Crystal Rose can't really nullify. So great move there. And now we're 1 stock apiece.
1 stock apiece, but Crystal Rose has had an easier time controlling the flow, and when it comes down to the neutral zone, just poor Red Rhino. You can go up. That Luma was floating down to you.
Yep. Trying to use Luma to do a rebound stock off of Red Rhino. Red Rhino fortunate to avoid all of that. And here comes the nullification of the banana peel. And Luma has returned. So we're going to see a little more defensive play. And oh my goodness, 98% for Red Rhino. Trying to survive as much as possible. Throwing banana peels.
Oh!
And getting clapped at the end.
Oh, you gotta say it like that?
I mean, how else should I say it?
It's just the way, you know, I don't know, you just said clapped, you know, like why you gotta say it like that, you know, just like, oh, you know, Alabama, you know.
If you're showing bias,
I'm not showing bias. I'm not. That's, as a caster, it's my job to put all bias aside, no matter the player. Okay.
But the character otherwise.
I don't know what you mean by that. That wasn't in the license that I had to sign. That wasn't in the NDA.
Oh, man, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't sign. Oh, the non-Diddy agreement. That's a good one.
Listen, you're speaking crazy thing. Red Rhino very much, I think, was struggling more towards the beginning when it came to how to go up against this mirror match. It was something that we kind of got to understand from before when we talked to Dizzy from the last match, and how Bayonetta is a beneficial character because nobody knows what Bayonetta does anymore. And so I think nobody knows what Rosalina does, and you know, it seemed Red Rhino was more of testing the ground, seeing how much they could get away with. Unfortunately, it's just costed them too much. Doesn't have those invincibility frames to even sleep on. And Quinn, they get that round.
Mm-hmm. And as we approach what might be our last game of this series, we have Kalos as the final stage pick. And it looks like we're just going to run it back to the same characters. At least Crystal Rose is going to stay Rosalina. We don't know if there'll be a swap with Red Rhino. I assume not.
I mean, I don't know. The Diddy can work. The Diddy 100% can work. Mm-hmm. It's just in the usage and way that you format it. And obviously, as I'm trying to extend that sentence for as long as possible, because apparently that's just how I speak, the Rosalina has been looking strong, and it's definitely one of those characters that now I'm more kind of wondering, well, why aren't they used often? And I think that can be given to the fact that Rosalina is very floaty, and that can be a big problem. I think a lot of characters don't benefit from it. I feel you could be a lot weaker. You're not like that Jigglypuff with zoning. So at least when it comes down to the stadium, how will Red Rhino be able to start bringing it back?
Absolutely, this will be a tall task for Red Rhino here. But either way, doesn't really change the results with Quinnipiac winning this set nonetheless. But hey, good even start so far. Both players in the 30s in terms of damage ratios. And now climbing in terms of Crystal Rose. I always hate talking about damage percentages because it always changes as soon as I mention it.
I got it.
Watch this. They're at 78%, 54%, See? And it changed.
Now, you hesitated on that. You gave them the chance to be able to do it.
Well, they hesitated in hitting it.
Fair enough, fair enough. And it seems Red Rhino is getting a better understanding. The platforms being on the side seems to not really be conflicting against them, rather than in between, like we saw on the last map. Red Rhino is now having more room to be able to not only get these little back dashes, but Rosalina is not getting too much, and unfortunately...
Oh, went the wrong way.
Yeah.
That's a very unfortunate move from Crystal Rose, sitting at a pretty good disadvantage here now, unless you can get a quick stock off of Red Rhino. Time is now. You got the Black Star, Black Luma. See what happens here.
Look, you said see what happens here, and they already get so close. Red Rhino and a very dangerous opposition. Though, look at that. Yeah, counter out as much as you want when it comes to the banana. The monkey be different. Until Rosalina at 0% is being able to stand there, use the Luma, knocks you off. It hurts.
Yep, oh my goodness, and here comes, we almost saw a pretty good combo from getting 64 on Crystal Rose. That's going to be pretty crucial despite losing a stock or not. Well done, Red Rhino.
It's monkey o'clock, as I'd like to say, being able to use your own coconut jet speed to come back on. It is a little unfortunate, you know, you gotta be killed in that fashion, but you managed to bring it up to 84%, meaning that you still have the advantage.
Still very much in this game, and you look at the damage percentages, plus the stock lost from Crystal Rose. 14%? I think you're good.
Relatively or so, until we see Crystal Rose bringing out the combos, bringing in the guards. How much can you do against the Luma? It's just adding in that initial damage, and, well, is a big threat in their own right.
Yep, Red Rhino had to knock out that Luma just to give him some room here to work with. So no damage comes some random way. There was a nullified banana right there, as we saw. Little down air move from Crystal. Here comes a jetpack, and missed the opening. Try to take away an easy stock, not gonna happen. And now it's just a battle on the edge, just toss up. Try to use the back air, not gonna happen though.
Just looking to take the stock off Red Rhino because, this could end up going into a third round. Crystal's having a lot of problems just landing these hits. The Red Rhino is so moving all around the map. There's not much you could do besides from nullify those bananas and give yourself a second to take the stock.
Yep, now at, 102% to nothing. This is going to be very, very difficult for Crystal Rose. Trying to make something happen here. Trying to survive and just seal the game and not go to a game 3.
If there's any character that I can believe who can do this, it is Rosalina. But one good counterback like that, if it had just been in the reversal, I would have been absolutely out. But I'm not here to talk about the hypotheticals. I'm more looking at Red Rhino setting themselves up.
Yeah, but I gotta say, the stage has definitely helped Red Rhino a lot as well. You see, with the pillar fashion as well, that's some good recovery from Diddy, because I believe Diddy can wall jump. Oh, no. Oh, thank goodness, but Luma was waiting at the edge, but not making anything happen, and Rosalina's not gonna survive that. Not gonna survive that. Before user intel loses his mind, Red Rhino able to seal game 2, and now we're gonna go to a game 3 between these two fighters.
Monkey o'clock, and that's what I'm talking about. Though that was incredibly close, especially closer towards the end. We saw both players at basically one-hit territory where a single damage would have cost them. Though we have to just show that clip of Crystal Rose falling off the map in that type of fashion. It's a little bit sad, but it happens. You know, everybody's got their moments. But that's what you do. That's what you get going up against the monkey o'clock, as my bias likes to come out. No bias, actually. It still might be a problem, because especially with the next map opportunity and the picks I think this was solely a map type of win. This is by far where a map pick benefited a character more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think also like, that first stock was an SD basically C Rose, but do you think like if Rose didn't SD there, like the match would be any different, or do you think it would be kind of similar? Kind of hard to tell. I don't know.
Oh, like when I'm looking at you, your face says no. You want me to feel like the Diddy got lucky,
Oh
But
no, you're the color commentator. I need you. We need you to color a picture for us here.
Yeah.
And how it would have worked.
I think that would have made a big difference going in, because Rosalina would have been able to get back, and as we saw, they were able to stay on that stage for a considerable amount of time, and it really was, to a large extent, a stock-to-stock difference. So losing that stock very early, I think, cost Quinn a lot. If the recovery had worked the way they wanted to, I felt Diddy, yes, probably still would have got that stock very early, but that would have been one more hit Rosalina would have got in, and it could cost. So onto Battlefield, this just may not be either one's favor.
Yep, this is a good neutral stage for each character, I would say. It is the default stage of the starters of Smash, if you ever are considering playing Smash. Why haven't you played Smash yet? It's a great game. Play it. I wish I could play it more, but I need to fix my Switch before I do, or just get a new one.
Fair enough to that own sentiment. Look at this
Ooh.
beautiful edge guarding. Though the Rosalina is going to have the chance to come back. Red Rhino seems to have adapted almost cleanly to how the Rosalina works in their own style.
Mm-hmm. For sure, using a lot of back air moves, back kicks, taking out Luma twice now, I think. Maybe 3 times. I can't even. Losing all the counts. Losing my mind as well. Great catch with the banana. Although slips on it that second time. Luma trying to get a little right hook in or left hook. Not gonna happen against Diddy, as here comes that banana peel once again. And no one, both in the triple digits in terms of damage percent, but yet struggling to get a stock off.
It's almost as if we're back in round 1 with how much they're stuck inside this neutral fight. Though Red Rhino is more looking for the opportunities just to get hits like those, that's basically the game plan. You let Rosalina get a combo, Rosalina will kill you. However, you look to just get a single hit, you'll be able to pump in that damage over time.
I think that would have been a good down smash opening there for Crystal Rose. Just didn't quite get the opportunity to do it. Oh, and the monkey flip. Able to take out Crystal Rose first. Red Rhino strikes first.
It's just the Diddy superiority complex I have. I don't know what about it. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Rose. Crystal Rose is showing me that they are not ready to lose it out, and they are still being able to not only set themselves up pretty cleanly, but it's the fact that Red Rhino wants to be playing aggressive is almost as if it's punishing themselves at times.
Absolutely. Red Rhino's just been really good at closing in, getting as much damage on Rosalina as possible. Really, really good. And a lot of those times is just, after Rosalina trying to recover, being left wide open, and Diddy Kong just speeds up and finds a hit as fast as possible.
Yep, just looking at taking that damage. Crystal Rose is having a lot of issues just moving around. I think the platforms actually may be causing a bigger problem. There's 3, and as much as that's not much of a change comparably to how the first round went, Red Rhino has so much room to move around and jump and mess, and especially do stuff like that. I feel really bad for the Rosalina, who's going to be landing on them more often than not.
Yeah. Red Rhino just laying down traps as much as possible and just pretty much countering every move that Ryan is trying to throw at him right now. Diddy Kong technically doesn't have a specific counter move, but just reading Rosalina well and just react better. So far, yeah, Crystal Rose just doesn't look like has an answer.
it's just more of there's no answer that you can bring up that works. The stage is not looking to be in your favor as much as you're being able to at least consistently stay up when it comes to stock percentage. Though it just may be Diddy. It's just too cool of a character. Monkey O'Clock shines through, as I'd like to say.
Absolutely. And now Crystal Rose staring with one stock left. You know, Quinnipiac definitely is going to walk away with this win, but how big would it be for South Alabama to walk away with at least another win in their set, just get to play for some points on the board and go home with their heads high a little bit more. So definitely a big root here.
It's a careful game at this moment. Crystal Rose is definitely looking to go in as close as possible, but then Red Rhino plays back, sets himself up, and they're able to use the banana to great factor. They grabbed the banana.
How dare they?
I've got my stays when it comes down to the banana. More than anything, this is now a juggling game. The juggle god would love to see this. Crystal Rose being able to just mess with them, and this is what you're looking for. Just be as annoying as possible. Use the Luma to your advantage. You can definitely defeat the Diddy if you just stop letting the Diddy, take the space.
Yep. And now it's going to come down to this last stock. However, 106. Can Crystal Rose make a big comeback? Another option. There's 140 left to play in this game. Maybe, I don't know, this is going to be unlikely, but if you could survive, take this to sudden death, that's another option. Just replay with a set of new percentages at 300 or 150 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
We don't do sudden death either way, so it's just going to...
Look at you. Not even reading your own rule set. Plus, Diddy would win that easily. The peanuts are in the favor. And look at that! Had to say the magic word! And that's where South Alabama get a little bit of favoritism from the caster's side, because Crystal Rose not able to bring it out. Just a little bit unlucky. A little bit slower, and it cost them that frame.
Absolutely. Just could not come back from that match. However, Quinnipiac will still emerge victorious in this matchup. So GG's go around to both schools here for having a really hard fought battle, especially here at the very, very end, extending the lead for South Alabama, so they have something to feel good about themselves heading into the fall split.
Yeah, nothing to be upset about. Definitely
Spring
feel
split.
Alabama. Yeah, definitely feel Alabama have a lot to work with, especially going into the types of characters. They've been running a lot of things that have been unfamiliar, and while I've loved to see that creativity and for it to shine, especially when we go back to the Incineroars, a lot of my favorite characters have been played today. I think Quinn were just able to adapt and kind of play around it a lot better.
Cool. That is absolutely great. And we are going to go and to a quick break, get you guys an interview from the winning school, Quinnipiac. So once again, magic words are stick around and you don't want to miss it. All right, and we are back, and we're joined by Mr. Purple, Baco, and the rest of the Quinnipiac gang here in the background. Congrats on the win, you guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, Baco, you didn't actually play this game, but what could you say about your team and how they looked in this game?
They sort of looked into it as we don't really have much experience with like out of conference teams, so we were cautiously prepared to take care of it. Like we made sure we had our better players on deck because we didn't really know how the South Alabama is. Like we look at their wins and losses, but we got somewhat of an idea of that. But we just made sure we were prepared because it's not a MAC team. So
Definitely a fair sentiment. And I think Alabama ran a lot of interesting characters and ideas that I don't think you guys were quite used to or knew how to play against. So what's the mindset when going up against a character that, debatably you would say is not meta or is not really popular?
the mindset for that is we basically just have to take it slowly. Like you have to take the time to gather information about the other character, how they play the game in general, and what the weird gimmicky things are going to do to you. And once you take care of find out what they want to be doing, then you can kind of counter that pretty easily.
For sure. And as we are going into winter break and prepare for the second half of the season, how do you guys, keep practicing during the break with, finals coming up and, holiday plans or anything? Or do you guys, just take it easy during the break and enjoy yourselves?
We're probably going to play each other a bit online, like not too much because we all don't like Wi-Fi at all. But the major thing we're gonna probably do is we're gonna go home and play in our local regions. Like I know for the people staying in Connecticut, there's a lot of tournaments that are gonna be in our area, and I'm certainly gonna be going to those. That's what I mainly do. And the New York people that are from like New York and stuff, they'll go to their locals. They have very strong players over there, so they're just gonna go home, and when they have time, play the players in their area.
That's a really good answer. I don't really have any other questions. So South Beach, I want you to lay it down because obviously they didn't pick the Garfield skin, so I am a little bit more upset with the Incineroar. But so I'll let you kind of end it out.
Yeah, you're gonna have to forgive our. You gotta have to forgive user. He definitely is a biased caster sometimes, but it's all right. It's all right. But hey, just to wrap this up, do any of you guys really shout out you want to give before we wrap it up?
I'm gonna shout out Soul Cake. He's currently sick and he couldn't attend. He's our team captain and he does so much for us. And we just want to see him get better and get back into the swing of being a captain instead of just being in his dorm room. So yeah, I want to see him get better from the sickness.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thoughts and prayers go up to him. Quick recovery for Soul Cake, but congrats on the win, guys. You guys have a fun, safe break. Good luck on finals if you guys have any. It could be you can get a C and still pass a class. Just heads up. Don't encourage that though. But yeah, don't endorse it whatsoever. But congrats on the win, guys, and enjoy the break.
Let's go.
Oh my!
Breaking mics here. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
And coming up next is Siena College versus Niagara University at 7:50 Eastern Time. So stick around. We're going to bring another fantastic match for you guys.